Welcome back to Grow Your Market Center Brokerage with Alexis, myself. And today we have an incredible team leader, individual, and friend of mine, Laurie Plyler. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited
Of
to be here.
course, I'm excited for you to be here, and I'm going to brag on you because I'll do a better job of it, right? We'll tell everybody who's listening where you're from, and just a little bit about yourself, your market center brokerage, and then we're going to kind of dive into what everybody is interested most, which is how are you so successful, especially in this crazy market? So, Laurie entered the real estate industry alongside her husband when they launched a Keller Williams team in 2020. Over the next 3 years, they collaborated and grew his production from 4 million to 18 million while developing replicatable systems. Laurie rose to become their office's team leader, building a culture of collaboration, kindness, and family. Prior to real estate, Laurie spent 18 years at a networking marketing company, which is so incredible. You guys, listen to this, building her team to the company's top 1% and landing her division number 3 recruiter. She grew her organization to over 1,000 consultants and developed 26 other leaders, all of whom were also in the company's top 2%. Outside of her professional life, Laurie is a wife, mother of 2 children, as well as a recent breast cancer survivor. She is passionate about holistic health and wellness, as well as spending time outdoors with her family. And in terms of what you might be thinking, how many years has she been in the role? How big is her brokerage? You currently have 361 agents.
That's right.
Incredible. You've been in the role for 2 years. And I'm going to brag on you a little bit. You average 12 agent recruits per month. Your gross recruiting numbers are up 26% year over year. You have net 26 agents year to date, which is in the positive, huge, and it's up 189% year over year. You are consistently in the top 5 market centers regionally, both in recruit gross and net, as well as profitability. Absolutely incredible, Laurie. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Where are you located for those that are listening?
So I am in Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina.
I love that. How big is your area? I'm sure some people have that curiosity.
Oh gosh. It's a large area. There's about 17,000 agents in our MLS. However, of course, some of that could be an hour drive, but the Charlotte market is a large one.
Yeah, your territory in general, right? Couple
hmm
thousand for sure.
hmm
Awesome. Very good. Well, I'm sure people are dying to know. Tell us one major success that you've had in this role, outside of obviously what we just bragged about. And what do you attribute to these numbers and these successes?
Well, that's such a big question, and I was thinking about it, like, how do I narrow that down? I would say there's 2 things that are probably not exactly numbers related that I feel like has been a big success. One is reviving our market center. When I
Mm.
first arrived in the team leader role, it was that season where nobody was coming into the office. It was just a ghost town around here. And we did some design renovation and created the Mark Center to look like a co-working space with couches and tables and collaborative areas instead of cubicles and just office spaces. And in addition to that, added an extremely heavily recognition focused team meeting that was very focused on the agents. And I really feel like between those 2 things, we took our market center to a whole nother level where we've got 75 to 100 agents at our team meeting. There's constantly agents in here, not alone, but with each other, sharing ideas and working together. So that's just been awesome to see the atmosphere completely shift. And then the second piece of that was over the 2 years now, having developed a really strong ALC has been amazing. To shift from just putting on your ALC, which is your Agent Leadership Council, just whoever would say yes, and shifting that to truly the top 5% of our office that is on a mission to partner with our leadership team.
That is so huge. So many wins in that alone, right? And I'm sure that there are some leaders out here who are listening to this going, you have 75 to 100 people join your business meetings? That is, I mean, what is your secret to that? I mean, there's got to be the follow-up systems, letting them know, reminding them, obviously bringing value. I mean, give those that are listening who are struggling getting people to their business meetings, probably even around this time of year or any time of year for that matter. How did you turn that around that quickly, that robustly?
Absolutely. So I think one phrase that you could always think about if you're planning a team meeting or any event is what's in it for me. That's what the agents are thinking. And I think sometimes we think we're just going to put it on the calendar and people should just see the calendar and they should come. And that's just not on the top of agents' minds. And so you've got to think about what's in it for me. And so that meant, first of all, every team meeting had to feel super worth their time. So we really focused on bringing in really like attractive, meaning like somebody that people would be interested in with a great topic, great topic to discuss, a great guest speaker, an agent panel. There's always like quality that they're leaving with from the team meeting. Tons of recognition. It's very focused on that. So the agents, no matter whether they're new, in the middle, or at the top, feel seen for what they're doing. And then we really focus on promotion heavily. So Facebook Live, text messages, emails, posts, all of those are happening, I would say, about a week and a half out from every team meeting, plus just your regular, having it on the calendar.
I love that. So what I heard you say, just to reiterate the importance, is you touch base with them, whether it's email, text, phone call, reminder, 4 to 5 times a week and a half before.
Yes. Oh, and one other caveat to that could be helpful is the email and the text, both of those are being sent out using a service that is mass text, but it's using their name. So they feel like they're being personally invited to the team meeting, which I think makes a big difference.
Absolutely. I love that. Kudos to you. That's huge. Absolutely huge. What would you say one thing you've done consistently that has gotten you to get to where you are today? Build, just shy of a 400-person market center, one of the biggest in your area, mind you, right? And be in these, within Keller Williams' top 100 market centers out of over 1,000. I mean, what do you do consistently? What would you attribute that to?
I think it's two things. Like personally, just like internally, I'm very consistent on personal growth and constantly filling my cup up so that I feel like I have something to give to other people professionally. And then the other thing, which is a simple thing, but it makes a huge difference for me, is follow up. I feel like I'm a follow up beast.
I love that.
It is my secret sauce. People comment all the time that I'm working on recruiting that are like, that's just amazing. I heard from you for like a year, but they say it in a complimentary way, not like,
Yeah, not in like a stalker way.
Right.
But I mean, if we're borderline not stalking, are we doing our job?
Right. I call it pleasantly persistent, like a little friendly bumblebee.
Yes, I love that. And it's funny that we say, or I make a joke of stalking, right? What we learn or what we do in what's called NLP, you and I have talked about it in some of our coaching, which is neuro-linguistic programming. Pattern interrupts are really important. So when people are ghosting you out there, a really great pattern interrupt is, hey, just stopping by to do my weekly stalking.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, people go, oh, yeah. I mean, like, whoa, right? And they laugh, and it's the pattern interrupt. Like, you smell popcorn, right? Pattern interrupt. So anyways, for people that are listening, I think it's a great way to re-engage people is a funny, essentially, pattern interrupt.
It's brilliant. I love that.
I love it. Awesome. What is a piece of advice that you've received in this role that you can absolutely not live without when it comes to growing a brokerage?
I will say that I think that there's so much to running a brokerage that you don't realize till you're in it. So I'm so grateful for all the advice that I've gotten. Thank goodness for mentors. One that I wrote down that I think might be helpful was somebody needs to do it. It just doesn't need to be you. And that has always served me really well because I'm a doer and I'm an achiever and I'm a very driven person. And especially sometimes, when you come into an atmosphere where everything maybe isn't exactly how you would have created it all to be, it can feel like, well, I'll just do it. I'll just handle it and get it done. But you are one person and this is a big billion-dollar business that it's not humanly possible to do all the things. And so really, I used to think I was a great delegator until I got in this role. And then I learned what delegating was even at another level. So really learning to delegate.
Yeah, I love that. For people that are listening right now, they might be thinking, oh, well, I mean, what advice would you give me if I don't have the people in my world? I haven't earned the right. I don't have a 350-person market center, so we're on a shoestring budget with a shoestring staff. What would your advice be to them when it comes to delegation?
I think you have to get creative. And what I mean by that is before I delegated much of anything, I was getting creative with tools that could duplicate me, but were not a person. So, for example, I mean, the world of AI is a whole other thing. I will not pretend like I know all of that, but sort of, right? Like, what can AI do for you? What automatic text messages can you do to stay in touch with your agents, emails? Like, what marketing can you automate? Like, there's things that would be better to have a person do, but in the meantime, what can you take off your plate, so that you can get in front of the people?
100%. I love that. I always say if you can't afford the who, figure out the what.
Yeah.
Right. So, for those of you that are listening, I get it. I have coached many, many team leaders with them and the MCA, the person that does the accounting and finances. And sometimes that's it. Right. With 100+ agents, right, that we're also trying to retain while we're trying to grow the brokerage. So, no matter the size of your market center executive leadership team, your brokerage's staff, there is always opportunity to grow through systems. And I think you highlighted that perfectly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, I will just say one other thing too, Alexis. I think too, sometimes you have to look at what is most important right now. Like, because a lot of times team leaders we're creative and we think of things and we want to grow and we're driven. And, sometimes we might have like 5 great ideas that can make an impact. But okay, what's the one big rock that we could implement right now that would propel us forward, and put the other ones on the side burner for now until you can, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. And I think the prioritization of time, I mean, we always talk about the importance of time blocking, right? And yet we don't really realize the importance of prioritizing time blocking. We've worked on this. I've worked on this with many executives. It is, what is the top 20%? Thank you. The one thing I reference it quite often, especially in my coaching. And it is, what can we do today so that tomorrow is easier?
Yes.
Instead of trying to boil the ocean and do 5 things and one of them might make an impact. I always say, if you're also listening to this and going, well, what is my prioritization list? Coach yourself as if you were talking to an agent. If you asked an agent today, what would be the one thing you could do today so that tomorrow would be easier? What would they say? Typically 9 out of 10 times. Lead gen, right?
Lead gen.
Call their sphere, lead generate, right?
Mhm.
Go door knocking, whatever it is to drum up business. And when you're running a brokerage and you're recruiting to it and your responsibility is growth and retention, it's the same answer, right? So,
Amen. I love that.
love that. Okay, so it sounds like it's just been easy peasy for you, right?
Oh,
Yeah. So
just a
easy, all
far.
the successes, right? No, everybody is wondering, what's the biggest challenge you've had in this role and how have you overcome it?
So I feel like I keep saying I feel like there's 2. Maybe it's because I'm indecisive, but um time management for sure has been my biggest challenge.
Okay.
Hands down, because again, to go back to the previous thing we were just talking about, right? There's a million things that need to get done. And I'll never forget having a conversation with somebody when I first started this role, and they were basically just saying, it's never all going to get done. And I did not like that, because I like to check off my list and be done. And that was really difficult to like recognize. And honestly, I went through a season where I was, staying at work late, getting home late, getting no time with the family, then putting the kids to bed and then working at night. And I just hit a wall where I knew that wasn't sustainable. And the fact of the matter is, you can be busy or you can be productive. And they're very different things. And I decided that I had to stop wearing the badge of busy and start focusing on productivity. And that means that not everything is the top 20%. Not everything really matters as much as we think it does. And we have to get clear on that and be okay with letting the other things not get space on our calendar so that we can move the needle where it actually matters.
Something you just said, and I don't know if I've ever heard somebody say it so eloquently. I'm going to reiterate it for those that are listening. Stop wearing the badge of busy like as a badge of honor, right? I think so many of us are like, we come home at 8 p.m. and we're exhausted. And if someone were to actually, a coach, a mentor, someone were to say, great, what is it that you accomplished today that's going to move this business forward? Unfortunately, as a coach, I've had to have this honest and fierce conversations with some clients. And it's usually, it either ends in tears or frustration Or because when you actually take a look back at these busy days, like wearing it as a badge of honor, a lot of the time it's like we didn't prioritize anything to push the business forward. We allowed everybody else's fire to become our own
Hmm.
and derail our day. Yeah,
Exactly.
great advice. So, time management is one of your biggest challenges. You said you had two.
Well, and I will just say one other thing to that, Alexis, because I totally agree. And I honestly think it's a thing in our society, personally, that like you are more somewhere in our psychology. It's like we believe in our society that we're more important or more valuable if we're really, really busy, which is so just not true. So, anyways, I agree with you. The other one, it doesn't relate exactly. I'm sure not everyone will relate to it, but I will just say it in case it might relate to somebody. Like you said in my bio, I recently overcame breast cancer, which I'm so grateful for. And I'm going to tell you, like I was diagnosed July 17th, and when that diagnosis happened, I remember thinking about my job and being like, oh, like how the ship's going down. How am I going to do this? Because it's such a demanding job and you have to be on and you have to be your best and be really focused. And I just was terrified, honestly, of what that would all look like. And to go back to kind of like what we've already talked about, I'm so grateful for all the coaching I've had with you, Alexis, that's forced me to like grow and delegate and develop systems and stay focused on my 20%. Because when that crisis in life happened, it certainly hasn't been perfect by any means. And I'm rebuilding momentum and different things, but I was able to rely on my team and we had some things set up so that everything did not fall apart and I was able to focus on my health and my priorities. And so I guess I just wanted to say, like, if you are listening and you go through any type of health challenge, or you just think about like, oh gosh, I hope that doesn't happen to me. This is why it's so important to set up systems and do the work. It's like make hay when the sun is shining, because when it rains, it's really nice to have a stockpile. And so I'm very grateful for the systems that we had set up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've had many conversations within your journey. And I mean, just to reiterate, like, you not only are one of the strongest people I know, you not only went through it, you conquered it, persevered. And you were just in a room with Gary Keller's personal top 100 team leaders again, right?
Yeah.
In the year, you've had one of the probably, I would guess, one of the most scary, overwhelming life challenges to date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was
incredible.
crazy.
Incredible, incredible. And for those that are listening now, you're doing well.
Yes, I'm doing
Yes,
well.
you're doing
So
well.
thankful. So much to be grateful for.
So much to be grateful for. So we've talked a little bit about systems today and the importance, the who versus the what, etc. What is the biggest system driver that you can attribute to your recruiting and growth results? So if it isn't the who, what systems, and maybe it is the who, or maybe it's both, and you feel free to share.
So for new agents, and I know not every market may have this. If you do, I hope this is helpful. For new agents, we've really focused on real estate schools. And that partnership has been phenomenal for just helping new agents in the industry fall in love with our office and the culture and all the resources. So that's been huge, which has given us a really strong pipeline for new agents. For established agents, the biggest thing that's really been a driver for us have been events. And that's two-parted, I suppose. One is every day when I sit down to lead generate, I pull up our office calendar and look for the next super amazing event. Like, what's the next super awesome, attractive to a non-Keller Williams agent event that I could easily invite people to? And so I'm always making sure we have those on the calendar, first of all, prioritizing to have them on the training calendar and then inviting people. And then the other piece of that we did this year that was fantastic for us is we started holding once a quarter off-site co-broker events. And how I promoted those, of course, we pulled our target list, right, of the production levels that we're targeting and location, all those things. And then we always had a really great draw, like a guest speaker. So one time we did an agent panel. Another time we did negotiate like an FBI agent, and it was a former interrogator
Oh, I
who
love
was
that.
the guest speaker. It was really cool. So something different, right? Like to catch people's, like a pattern interrupt.
Yes.
Normally, realtor events are not with an FBI agent,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So we focus on those sorts of things, and all the marketing is unbranded completely because we didn't want people to judge, oh, it's Keller Williams or whatever, right? So we held it at a model home, offsite, really awesome theme. We've also done a mixer, and consistently every time. So I'll just use the FBI event as an example. I invited probably 500 people to that event. We had 60 RSVP, which is that's normal, by the way. So invite as many as you can because most of them can't come. And then we had about 50% attend of non-Keller Williams agents, about 30. And from that, within the next 24 hours, I was able to set 12 R2 appointments. And they were the easiest appointments ever to set because I had that warm connection with them. I literally was just calling them saying, hey, it's Laurie. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming to our event yesterday. It was so awesome to have you. I so appreciate it. What's your feedback? Awesome. You loved it. Well, hey, I haven't got to meet you in person. I'd love to grab coffee with you and just collaborate on business strategy. And everybody said yes. So that was a huge driver for us.
Huge. And it's coming from value. It's coming from contribution, which isn't part of our mission, right? It's like, it's really providing the value. And it's, are we going to be in business with them today? No. And maybe, sure.
Right.
And yet when they have an issue, they need that support. I mean, you are going out of your day, your way in your busy day to schedule these co-brokes to give back to the community in which you serve, which in turn gives back to you. And it's this cycle of when you provide that kind of level of value, you attract, you don't have to recruit anymore, which has been really for you something that I've seen shift big time over the last really year is you attract and you've built that reputation, and it takes a little longer and yet it goes so much farther. So good for you. I think that's a huge success story. And I don't know how I didn't realize that the FBI agent was one of the, I love that. I don't know if I caught on to that. I love that idea. For those that are listening for your next event, that's a great idea. Awesome, awesome job. I love that. Okay, let's leave those that are listening still with one last piece of advice that you would give to other team leaders or OPs, just brokerage owners in general. Maybe it's a broker, somebody who owns or is invested in the growth and success of a brokerage. What piece of advice would you like to leave for them today?
Stay consistent. That's important always, no matter what. Consistency will always win. Guard your time. And the most important thing of all that I think changes the game is listen to your agents. When they tell you what they want, do everything in your power to make it happen. Like, we can't, buy everybody a Range Rover, but what can we do that they would love? If they come to you and say, hey, this is a problem and here's a solution. I think when agents feel heard, it builds a lot of trust, and they want to return that support to you.
Yeah, I love that. And coach them so they can buy their own Range Rover. How about that? We'll help you grow a business. Right. You can buy your own.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Laurie, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining today. I hope we were able to maintain everybody's attention. I can't imagine how we couldn't. You are just such a wealth of knowledge, and you're absolutely killing it. If other team leaders or individuals want to find you, if they want to find more of you, where can they find you on social media, email, whatever you're willing to give, etc.?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and TikTok, but probably Instagram's the best one. It's just my name, @Laurie Plyler.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Bye.